Exciting. I think this is what the league wants to see too. The top teams playing at the highest level and playing for another title, another championship. We obviously have a lot to prove, and going away again to Columbus again, it's going to be a tough challenge. So super looking forward to it.
You say you have a lot to prove. Steve said, "Well, we don't have anything to prove necessarily." What do you feel like there is to prove against Columbus? What's the statement?
Yeah, we've just, since I've been here, said we're the best team in the league, and I've felt that, and I think the guys in this club have felt that we're the best team in the league, but against them, we haven't shown it. And so for me, I want to prove, and I think the guys want to prove that when titles are on the line, we come up and we show up and play and win those titles. So a big chance for us. Steve's right, though, too, that they've had our number and the title last year, and then coming here and winning. So it's a lot of pressure on them to keep that going. For us, we get to go in and play a little bit free and just enjoy the game.
Does the 4-back or 5-back make a big difference in terms of what you think they can do in their success in breaking lines and what they like to have players working in space and tight spaces? How do you think that benefits
their lineup or our lineup?
Your 5 at the back, which you guys have been playing pretty consistently and doing well with. Does that make a difference against a team like Columbus?
I think it does, definitely. I think there's different ways to match up against these guys. Now we've seen them twice, and so I think we've got even more video of what we want to do and how we want to line up against them, and so I think that'll be helpful. No matter what we do tactically, though, we have to come ready to play. And in a final, you can put so much tactics on the board and you can put so many ideas in your head. And once that whistle blows, it's about just grit and competition and being ready to give everything. So we'll be ready and prepared on the tactical side, but we also need to be ready for a battle.
That's just one more.
Yeah.
The finals experience last year, the 3 that you didn't get, does that lead to a learning experience for you? Is there something you take away from what you got last year to take into these big opportunities that you're putting yourself in position now to?
Yeah, of course. Of course, when you lose, you're rethinking everything and playing back through your head. I mean, I probably took me 2 weeks after the lost final until I felt like I was, out of my head again and starting to enjoy the family for our off season. And so those things never sit well with you. Having to explain the game to my 7-year-old at the time, who loves football and loves his dad and wants to watch us play at the highest level. He's heartbroken when we lose the final. So there's a lot of stuff that goes into losing, a lot of things that you can learn. But I think for us, the goal is to just rewrite that script and not let it be the same thing that happens on Sunday. So.
Ryan, because of what happened against this team before, but also, as you mentioned, there's more depth in the team, the system. Do you guys feel like stronger in this moment?
I think absolutely you're looking at a team that feels at the top of their confidence, a team that statistically throughout the League's Cup has just been phenomenal, defensively, offensively, scoring goals, clean sheets, guys in every position showing up and playing at a high level. The problem is, these tournaments take a toll on you, and so by the time you get to the final, everybody's carrying a knock and everybody's trying to fight through and come out with, everything they've got. But in the earlier stages of the tournament, you're at 100% or as close as you can be to 100% as a footballer. So, there's a lot of things that go into getting to this point, and you can't rest to try to be ready for the final and rest in earlier games because you lose and don't make it to the final. So the guys we got a lot of work to do in the next 3 days, get recovered, 2 days, get recovered, get ready to go and be ready to give as much as we can.
Those tweaks in the lineup, and then we saw you last game, just the link-up plays and the connection that you guys have and how influential you were and those chances that were created. Just how are you feeling personally in that sense of what you guys are accomplishing?
Yeah, I feel really good as well. I think in this season it's so long. There's ups and downs. The summer comes, the heat comes. There's so many things that go into performances, and you hope that when you get to a final or you get to a big moment that the team is at their max confidence level. And I would say that feels true across the board. It feels true for me for sure. I think as I've gotten older too, learning how to manage these moments in the right way, where you're not overly anxious, but you're also not too calm. There's a middle ground there where you want your nerves to be kind of driving you in the right way. And so we've got a lot of guys in this locker room that know that exact feeling and know what it takes to come win these big games. So we're gonna need it. We're gonna need all of it. This is a really good team, and we're gonna be ready to play.
Being a part of this team, that it's always a contender. I mean, you always have to look at what LAFC is doing and like playing finals and just being
Yes.
there. What's that like, and just what the club has been able to establish itself in that way?
Yeah, it's so special. It's why I wanted to come here. It's why everybody wants to come here. It's why internationally everybody wants to come here, because LAFC is just always in the talk when a final is coming around, and that's why you play the game. You play the game to compete for these trophies. You play the game. You sit in January here in the locker room, you write out the team goals, and on other teams I've been involved in, and just knowing across the league, a lot of times you're writing those goals down knowing it's going to be a really hard shot that we make it to these goals, or it's going to be like everybody's going to have to put in a shift to try to make it to these finals or these accolades. And here we're writing down these goals thinking we need to be in these finals. We ought to see ourselves in these finals. And so there's just a different sort of belief here that's just in the culture. And I think you see it too on the guys that are now coming internationally, wanting to be a part of what we're doing here. So for me, just as a individual, as a person, as Ryan, it has been how do you say, like a joy beyond joy. Like the amount of joy I've had playing football here and competing for cups is just like, you can't put a price on it. So
Final questions on Zoom. Just Max first and then Andy also.
Hey Brian, as we cover the league, it's always viewed MLS as a league of parity. Everyone has a shot, but I mean, most leagues have your top teams, and people tune in to see that. So just maybe put your fan hat on to know that you have this rematch of MLS Cup, but these two clubs that have proven to be the best since that MLS Cup, navigating through a tournament and getting in there. How do you view that for someone who's consumed a lot of MLS in his career?
yeah, I think the parity really plays out over time. Like you can build a good roster and maybe keep them together. You've seen that with like the Seattles and the Torontos of old, and these guys that can put a good roster together, hold them together for 2, maybe 3 years, and then things kind of start to fall apart at least a little bit. And I think that's really where the parity comes into play. Not too crazy that a team that was really good last year is good again this year. That happens often throughout this league. What LAFC that has done that's different is they've just been good since they've been in the league. I think minus 1 year maybe they didn't make playoffs with a ton of injuries, but besides that, they've been at the top of the league every year they've been in the league, and so that's a little bit of a difference maker. It's also it's a short history. So our goal here, and the reason that these players are here, is to make that history a lot longer.
When you look at the bench, when you look at your bench, let's say the game against the Rapids, and you see Kike, Timothy, Olivier Giroud, Louis Aubin, obviously you guys are healthy, and that's a great sign, but knowing that you have that in case there's any entanglements, but have you experienced something like seeing a bench that is as strong as what we saw in the semi?
Well, yeah, we've had the 2022, the year we won the cup, our bench was so deep as well. Some big time players that were stepping in and scoring goals for us off the bench. Again, I think this club is so good at building up rosters. When we started this league, 2024, this season, we had very little depth. We were really searching for who's going to come in and help, provide a spark off the bench. And they've just kind of slowly but surely added guys and brought guys in and made moves that have helped us tremendously. And now you get to a point here when we're at the end of August, about to go to a final, about to go into the final push of the season with the depth that we have. And it's just, it's just crazy, but it's relentless from our club. It's relentless from our staff to continue to build out a roster, even when the starting lineup is high quality, that it's just not good enough. We're just always trying to bring in the next guy, and part of why the DNA here is so special. So yeah, you of course we talk about that in our pre-match talks, and we talk about that before we go out to warm up, that we've got the ability to bring these guys off the bench that are absolute game changers and starters on any other team in this league. And to be able to do that in this league is just it's a cheat code. So we'll look to do that again on Sunday for sure.
Good luck, Ryan. Thank you.
Thanks.
Final question, Andy, go ahead.
Thanks, Alonzo. Ryan, I know confidence isn't ever low in that locker room. I'm curious to know what you've learned through this tournament about LAFC. I mean, obviously you're in the final, then it turns around to a semifinal Open Cup, and it turns around to trying to finish the top four, maybe support the Shield in the stretch run. What have you learned from the team in this run, and has the standard even gotten higher with guys like who go in the Olivier run?
Yeah, absolutely. When these guys come in and you see Ollie pressing, and running our press, sprinting after center backs, trying to win the ball back from us in the press, of course, the other 10 guys are running with them, So you've got the type of leadership here where when these guys start kind of barking orders and bringing their own experience and bringing their joy, to the game, it just lifts everybody, and we all kind of run with them in that sense. And so it's been fun having those guys. I think this tournament though has taught us, you think about these long tournaments, and it's like when you start the tournament 7 or 8 games to get to the final, and it seems too far out. And I think what this tournament has taught us is if you boil it down to just individual games, just one game at a time, and think about the opponent ahead of you, I think what it's done for us is realize, like, why are we losing games ever? Like if we just consider one opponent, we can win. We can beat these guys. We can go to the next round. And so a tournament format gives you that ability to just focus on one game at a time when you go forward. And, in the season, you can get into these ruts and you can start to think, it's just another game. It's just another game. The season's long. We got to get to November, whatever. But when you start boiling it down to just individual games, we're looking at our opponent and thinking, we can win this game. Let's win this game. So I think it adds to what you're saying, adds to that confidence of every time we step on the field now, we've got this mentality and this confidence of why are we losing? Why are we going to lose this game? We're winning this game. And that confidence breeds results a lot of times.
Ryan, and quickly, have you and or Moody petitioned to Steve to let you play forward at some point?
Yeah, that's the one position in all of my career in the MLS. The one position I've never started a game at is a 9, like center forward. Never started. I've started as a winger, started as a center midfielder one time, started as center back. Obviously started out wide, but no, I've never started as a 9. So yeah, maybe that's in the cards. Maybe I'll see if Steve can help me out with that roster move. I mean, no, but how exciting is it watching Murray run forward on some of these fast breaks? This guy's just got an insane engine, so much speed, and you see this guy get in the opponent's box. It's unbelievable. So again, another weapon though. Like, you've got guys running hard like that. What do you do? How do you defend them? Another big weapon for us.